welcome to another episode of the Theater Professor Vidcast. My name is Terry Dana Jakimak II, and I am the Theater Professor. I know it's been a couple weeks since I have put out a tutorial, and I apologize for that. I just finished up 5 straight weeks of theater camps. Finished it this past Saturday, and took a couple days off. Needed to relax a little bit. And so there, I don't have a wonderful excuse. All I can tell you is that work has been crazy, and it feels good to be back into the tutorial creating vibe of things yet again. This week, I'm coming a day late. This is going to actually be released on Wednesday and not Tuesday, and we're going to be looking at Auryn Ink. I know that we had been doing Sketch Club, and we'll get back to Sketch Club, but I just recently saw that Auryn Ink came out with a new app for the iPad, or an overhaul or a fix, and so I wanted to share with you that. I know I've had some requests to look at it because it's a watercolor-based app, and so that's what we're going to be looking at. Before we go any further, I want to thank all those that help support the Theater Professor, thetheaterprofessor.com, my YouTube channel, etc. You guys, thank you so much for everything that you do for me and allow me to continue creating these tutorials. So thank you so very much. All right, let's jump right into Auryn Ink. Now, this is going to be an overview. It's not going to be a strict tutorial because really, full honesty here, I haven't played with it. So this is great, If you're looking at it for the first time, me and you are kind of looking at it in the same way. So the first thing I noticed is finally I can look at it in portrait and, let me see, will it flip? No, it doesn't flip. I'm not portrait, I'm sorry, in landscape. For a while, I couldn't even get it to do this, so I'm very happy to see that I can do this. Let's see, we've got a bunch of menu items up top, a couple of sliders on the right-hand side. Why don't we look through each of these? I'm going to assume the first one, the question mark, is some sort of info. Oh, I like the icons they have. The hand, the hand gives us a bunch of information. Oh, that's good. Okay, we can skip that. The frowny face. Oh, we can send an email because we have questions about Auryn Ink. Oh, that's nice. Okay. I'm going to delete that draft. So that's what the question is. I'm going to assume the next one with the paper and an arrow up is probably going to be telling me how to share it. Yep, there it is. Share it in any number of ways. Our third icon probably... this is where we can bring photos into the program. All right, interesting. Next up, we have a spinny circle-y thing. Oh, that changes our... and we can, just so you know, I'm zooming in and out using 2 fingers. Pinch in and out will help you zoom in and out. So that switches the direction of our paper. That's actually kind of nice. So if you're doing a portrait, you can flip it up to the portrait. And then, of course, the magnifying lets you zoom in and out various degrees. All right, let's stay in portrait for now. Next up, we have the plus button. If I click that, these are different papers. So we have a rough and a smooth canvas. Okay, this is interesting. The shaky icon here, I know what this does. So if I shake my iPad, there we go. It puts splatter. So I'm shaking my iPad, as you can hear my voice bounce up and down, and it just continuously spatters all over the paper with whatever color you have chosen. One thing I do know how to get a new sheet all the way to the right, the little gear icon. If you click it, you can clear the paper and that'll clean it back up. Okay. The other thing here, the 3D cube, I don't know what that does yet. So I'm going to have to play with it a little more. Next up, we have our brushes, and a variety of brushes, variety of types of tips. You can change the size. We will play with this in a future tutorial, but for example, we have this pointy tip. And then if we switch to, say, a flat tip, and then you could switch to, say, the really pointy tip. Okay. And then, of course, you can change the end tip. So we switch to this one. We get a different feel. If we switch to this one, Again, a different feel. Now, the faster, slower you brush, so that's a slow. If we go fast, you get the thinner look. So just something to note. And then down at the bottom, you have eraser. You can turn eraser on. Oh, excuse me. And you can erase things. Okay. Next up, we have our color choice. We have a nice wheel now. We can choose our color, our hue. Our outside ring is our hue, and inside our value. We have an undo button. That's next, and we can just continuously undo if we want. So if I come in here, I need to make sure my eraser is turned off. Lay down a green, and there we go. And maybe you only get one layer of undo. Yes. So that's good to know. Let me go ahead and clear the paper again. And there we go. So if I lay down a color, I can undo that color. If I laid, oh, look at that. And I got an email. If I lay down one color and then a second color, I can only undo the one. So it's something to be aware of. Next up, and this is interesting, is the layers that are built into Auryn Ink are different than others. So what we have here is we have our 3 layers. Top layer is our wet layer. Our second layer is our dry but could be re-wetted layer. And then our bottom layer is a completely fixed layer. Once you've hit that bottom layer, it's done. And what happens, and this is if you go into the tutorial section, so if you come back over here, oh, here you go. The 3D tilt allows for water to run based on how much you tilt your iPad. That's cool. But if you look in here, I'm going to just move it, and a very good explanation about those layers, okay? Again, 3 different layers. You're wet, you're dry, and you're fixed. Your fresh colors are on that wet layer. As the color dries, quote unquote dries, it's transferred to the dry layer, and then eventually it becomes a fixed layer. It's very much like how actual watercolor works, okay? And once it's fixed, it doesn't interact with the paints, the other paints that you're putting down, okay? Wet and dry layers do interact, okay? Now, if you notice up here, you can quick dry a layer and you can quick fix a layer. So, and then of course you can clear layers as well. So if we come in, let's get out of here. Let me skip this. Let me put down a couple of things. And I come over here. If we clear, that was clearing that layer. That's clearing that layer. And I'm just saying that clearing that layer. Let me do it again and give you a little more information than that. Let me switch my brush though. I'm going to go back to this one right here. Lay that down, lay that down, lay that down. If I come to the layers, top layer, if I hit the eraser for that, you can see not everything went away. Second layer, the dry layer, if I hit the eraser for that, that clears everything. But if I lay down these 3 again, let's lay down 2. Let's say I fix it. So now I can't, there's nothing on that second layer that I can delete, nothing on that top layer. The only layer I can delete is the fixed layer, and you can see it is deleted. So that's something that's kind of nifty. You know, the watercolor, it interacts with each other. And so as it dries, that's going to be important. This is me coming over. And just kind of layering up some. And what you'll notice with this program, which is really cool, let me grab kind of this brush here. The longer I do a stroke, the less color there is. That's just like what would happen in real watercolor. Notice here as well, you can see where some of the paints are mixing. And I could come in here, add a little more. And we'll have to see how that kind of mixes. Now if I zoom out now, let's delete some layers and see what we get rid of. So if I delete the top layer, the middle layer, and because I had not fixed anything yet, nothing nothing is left for the fixed layer. Okay. Up here, you also have a quick dry and a quick fix button. On the left-hand side, you have brush size, you have amount of water in a brush, and amount of color in a brush. So right now we're max on all three. If I take my water down, and then if I take my color down, so you can see there are slight differences. This is, again, I'm going to leave that up, water up, water up. This is essentially just water I'm laying down. There's no color in it. This is at 50% color. And then this is at full color. I have a habit of brushing too fast with this. So let's look at, let me go ahead and clear this. Oh, also in the gear icon, you can resize the paper, either high resolution or slow resolution. We'll cancel that for now. So how can this be used? I mean, this can be used in any number of ways. You could come in here. Let's say we wanted to do kind of like a flower stem, maybe. I don't like that. And this is where kind of, because I'm brand new to this, still kind of learning the program, I don't know which, nope, that's not what I want either. I don't know which ones of these are going to be good and which ones, oh, there we go. Okay. So if I come in here, let's do this. And then maybe let's grab a reddish. Oops. Undo that because I want a bigger brush. I'm doing this very loose right now. Little bouquet of flowers here. Then maybe bring in a little smaller brush and maybe do a little bit of, because I want to see kind of how it plays with each other. You can see it's kind of blending into it right now. So that's kind of cool. Okay. So this is our, oh, that's a nice little flower piece. I think I'll go ahead and put that up on the website, theaterprofessor.com. Let me go ahead and erase this strand over here that I didn't. There we go. And then, of course, I can fix all of this if I want to. I'm not going to right now. I'm just going to kind of see how it's still interacting over here. Okay? So if you just kind of let it go, it'll continue to interact. One of the things, if we wanted to see where the layers were, our wet layer. So everything right now is pretty close to the dry section. There's nothing really fixed yet. So you can kind of, that's kind of cool to be able to turn it off and see where things are. So this, again, this is Auryn Ink, okay? And it's a really nice watercolor program. I've actually had the program for probably close to 2 years now, but this new update makes it into something that I may actually play with a little more. So definitely check it out. Like always, my name is Terry Dana Jakimak II. I'm the theater professor, and I try to bring you art or digital painting tutorials every week. So make sure you check us out. Subscribe to us on the YouTube channel. All right, that's it for this week. I look forward to see what you guys come up with in the next couple of weeks, and take care.